Hello, Liberty. I'm back with another 2020 Senior Spotlight, and I am here with Coach Quatrale. Coach Q, what's up?
What's up, coach? Doing pretty good over here.
Yeah, how are you all adjusting to being at home?
Well, we've talked a lot, you and I think people are like I'm a super positive person over here. So I've really kind of taken this time to really dive into sort of the hat of being a teacher and a mom at home. And my kids are just loving it. Like we're having so much fun. We're working really hard, getting all their schoolwork done, doing some extra fun like science projects and different activities. And we spend a lot of time outside. So we're adapting okay at home. We're very blessed that my husband's still able to work and that we are healthy and we have the space at my house to be able to go outside and play. So it's going pretty well for us. We're making the best of the unique opportunity that we have to sort of be together and grow as a family. So it's nice.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you and your kids are playing constantly. And in fact, I see your tweets all the time, so I know that you're outside playing all the time. At least when we get nice weather, because that doesn't seem to be something we're gonna get anytime soon.
No, no. And my little guy Nico, he's 4, and he's a wild man. So even like it rained the other day, and I'm like, you know what? It's warm. So we put on our rain boots and jackets, and we literally went for a walk around the streets in the rain, let him play out there because he's got to get out. If I kept him inside all day, he needs to move. And I think we all need to move, and that's kind of everyone needs to remember to still get outside. But I actually went and I made a little investment and put up a ninja line out back, and I hung a rope swing from it. So the kids are really getting a kick out of climbing these stuff. And they spend probably 2 to 3 hours back there a day. So it's nice.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
good
They're
stuff.
gonna start traveling with Miss Alvard's kids and
Well, that's he
ninja.
gave us the idea. Zachary's he's got to pull together over there.
I love watching the videos of that kid and his ninja everywhere. I love it.
For sure. He's intense. He's good. He's
Yeah.
really
So, Coach, tell us about your memories with this class because you had told me that you followed them from the elementary school to the middle school. So tell me about memories of this class because you probably have a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you just said, I started teaching them. They were second graders when I first came out of college and started teaching in Liberty, taught them in the elementary school. And then when they moved up to the middle school, I think they were there a year. And then I followed them up there and taught them in the middle school. And now when they moved into high school, I still, I see them all the time coming in the gym and everything. And when I looked at your list of all the seniors, it's really wild because as many times as I go through the list, I just see another name and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when that kid did this and that kid did that. So I hope that seniors out there, I hope you all remember and realize that like if you had me as a teacher ever, I remember you and I could probably tell a story about you. We don't have all the time in the world to do all that, but I definitely have a couple that really come out in my mind. And one of the big ones is back in the elementary school, they were probably second or third graders this class. And we had built the big track out on the field. So, we put the cones down and everything. And we do a few different events, kind of prepping for field day and things like that. And one of the things we do is little like relays. So they'd sit in their little lines and then they'd all have numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'd say, all right, number ones, come up. And they'd hold the baton. And number ones would start to run. And they'd be like, okay, number twos, get ready for your ones. And they pop up and they get it. And I just remember looking at this class and being like, the ladies in this class can run. And I did. I jotted down some of the names to remember. I remember it was Cassidy, it was Brooke and Brianna Roth, it was Anna, Sydney. I had it was Hillary, Kylie, Lily. I think maybe Destiny, and probably I think Nicole Blaze too. And like they just could fly. And I just remember like loving it, being like, oh, here come the girls again, like the second grade girls, whatever year they were then. And I really just got a kick out of watching them run. And it's funny because watching all of your videos back with some of these girls and they talk about that they were going to run track. I'm like, well, guess we were right. Even like way back then.
Yeah, yeah. They are a quick bunch of girls. I would have liked to see their 4x1 relay this year because I think that would have been interesting with some seniors, and I think maybe like Alyssa Kavaleski was going to be one of them. It would have been an interesting group to watch them run.
Yep. And I think back when talking the elementary school age, thinking back about the kids that I really stood out to me then also, I remember Kamani back then. I remember being out in the field and we were doing our football unit. And I just remember watching Kamani just like bomb balls. Like, oh my goodness, this kid could throw at like 7, 8, 9 years old. And he would just be out there throwing the ball like it was nothing. I remember saying to the other phys ed teachers, I think it was Coach Stoddard and Coach Wilhelm, and I remember saying to him, like, oh, what do you think? You think this kid, like think this kid's going to go all the way? He's going to be playing for you? Because John Wilhelm was the football coach, varsity coach at that time. And they were like, yeah, he's definitely going to make an impact for us. And sure enough, he came along and did,
Yeah. Yeah. Just a little impact on Liberty football.
Yeah. Definitely made his mark. Well,
Yeah.
And it's funny because, we used to also, like, elementary talk right now, like the kids would come in and they'd just be so excited about things. And I remember Christopher Bayer coming in, and he would just have, like, I think he did it on purpose because he knew I liked it. I don't really know, but he would come in and wear a different jersey like every single phys ed day. And his jerseys would be like these intense throwback jerseys. Now I knew he was a Jet fan and I was a Giant fan. So we'd always have like little discussions and things like that. But he used to tell me that they were his older brothers, who's like 10 years older than him. So he'd have these like super cool like throwbacks, but really they were jerseys that I grew up with. And I just used to like question him, like, what team was this? Who did they play for? When was that? Just to make sure he knew what he was wearing. And he always knew. He always knew all the stuff. Such a cute little kid at the time. And he, of course, grew up into a big asset for Liberty athletics and just Liberty in general as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, we talk about moving up to the middle school and all. And it's funny because, like, you watch the kids grow up so much. And a lot of these kids, they love phys ed in elementary school, and then they get to middle school and maybe they fizzle out and don't love it so much. But I'm always trying to kind of pull them back, and make them enjoy it. Which brings me to a point, by the way, and I know I said this to you, I texted to you one day. These kids who are all saying that like math and physics, and I love you all. They're liars. Phys ed, if phys ed is your favorite and Coach Fuentes asks you your favorite, say it. Because all these kids are trying to come to the gym during study halls to play. Yeah. I'm just saying.
No, someone, I don't remember who it was. Someone did say, am I allowed to say gym? And I was like, yeah, you can. And I was like, absolutely.
It was Gabby. I heard it. And I remember being like, that's right, Gabby, say phys ed. Because like, since she came here in middle school, it's been her favorite. Yeah, and I got to say, I know we got to keep it short and sweet here. Another one that's just been a memory that I could honestly have memories from elementary school, from middle school, all the way through high school would be Cassidy DeGroat, obviously. And you touched upon this when you talked to her because you and I had talked about it. But just to say it again, to kind of tell my side of the story, Cassidy, just a kid who is coming in, wants to be the best student overall that she could be, but came in and just would give 110% in phys ed no matter what. And I think it was last year, it was in the spring. I had my class, I think it was probably 5th or 6th graders. I had them out at the track and we were doing the high jump. And, the kids love it. And they run up and they land on the mat. And like, we don't put the real bar. It's like a rubber thing. So nobody gets hurt or anything. And Cassidy was walking by and we were just kind of closing up. She's like, can I try? And I'm like, yeah, get out there. Come on. Like, let's see you jump. Let's see it. And she's like, oh, I don't really know. Like, how do you do it? And I just kind of told her the basics of what I know. And I'm no track person at all, but like, give her the basics. And she comes out and like literally the first one. And I actually I had one recorded. So I found it. I sent it to her. I think I sent it to you too. She sort of clipped it on the first one. And I was like, do that again, do it again. So she went back and she did it again. And she cleared what would have been like state qual height. Like we had already had it out there because Kelsey had been out there working at it. And like, I'm like, oh my goodness, Cassidy, you have to jump. And I know she had planned on trying to jump this year. And,
it would have been a great thing to watch.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's crazy. And I know there's definitely a lot of students in this class that I'll miss as time goes on here. And I think that Cassidy is definitely somebody that I hope that she's going to realize the impact she's had on my life as well. And just like her showing up every day despite anything else and just giving 110%, whether it's, in the gym, whether it's with you at practice, wherever it is. We had just before this all happened, I had a young lady in the middle school who had to do fitness testing. And we went and we're in the gym and like in the weight room and doing the fitness testing. I'm trying to do sit-ups and Cassie's in the gym. I'm just like, Cass, when you finish that rep, can you just come over, hold her feet for me? Not a question. Came over, held her feet. Then I was like, Cassie, she could really use somebody to pace her. She has to run the mile. And like, it'd be nice to kind of show her. So sure enough, Cassidy walked outside with us to the track, ran the mile with this girl, encouraged her the whole way. Like, that's the kind of stuff that Liberty Pride is about. And like, I hope that she knows how much she represents like Liberty and how proud we all are of her, and proud just of, you know, the way she carries herself, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure at this point that she knows because I try to tell her often. So,
I'm sure you
um,
will.
so you know all of these kids, and I'm sure we could spend probably about an hour talking about every single
Yeah.
one by one. But what's your message to all of them?
You know, I thought about this because I've seen you asking that question, and it's interesting because I feel like so many different kids could get different messages to really like give them what they need. So what I'll say is this, and I've said this to you before. It's a Steve Weatherford quote that I really like, and he says, "The grass may be greener on the other side, but I'm not trying to worry about anybody else's grass." And I think that really applies right now. That, you know what, like, yeah, it would have been great to have your prom, and it would have been great to have this and great to have that, but you're getting a unique experience right here, right now, that none of us got to have. And in the future, probably nobody's going to get. So I think it's okay to be a little sad. It's okay to feel upset about all this, but then realize the benefits and find the positive and just keep pushing forward, because you've been through other things before, and we'll all get through this.
That is a very, very good message to send out. And I'm working on a plan for, a very late prom.
Oh, I know you will be.
A very, very late prom, but the biggest, best prom you've ever seen at Liberty for sure.
I hope that they know how lucky they are, because having you as their class advisor right now, like, I know that you're going above and beyond for them, and I'm sure they know it, and I hope that they appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. They mean a lot to me. But Coach, I'm going to sign off now. And thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for having such cool memories to share, because when those kids hear this, I'm sure they're going to remember those moments. And that's one of my favorite parts about having the teachers talk, is that we have things that the kids may not have thought about in years. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh man, I remember that day,
Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure.
I'm really happy that you were a part of this with me.
Thank you. Stay healthy.
Yeah, you too. And everybody else, I'll be back with another 2020 Senior Spotlight soon.